Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I'm a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be talking all about this upcoming new moon in the sign of Cancer happening on the 5th of July. So it's coming up really quickly. How is your summer going, everyone? Well, I understand that those of you in the southern hemisphere, it's winter. But yes, how is everything going? Are you looking forward to this upcoming new moon? Now, before we do dive in, however, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I want to inform you that if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology eBooks, guide, cheat sheets, all that good stuff. All the links to those products will be in the description box. Plus, I want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Edyard. Hey, oh, hi. And I'm glad to hear that your summer is going good. Yay. Eddie, hi to you. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Jeff. Thanks for being here. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback there. Okay, so here is just a quick overview of some of the aspects. There's quite a lot, as you can see. There's quite a bit going on during this new moon. We do have a good few oppositions happening, right? We've got Mars directly opposite Pallas retrograde. We've got Ceres retrograde directly opposite the new moon. So we're going to explain that. And we even have, we've got Saturn directly opposite Juno. All the same degree, right? 19 degrees with Mars, 19 degrees with Pallas, 14 with Ceres opposite 14 with the new moon, and then more 19 degrees there with Saturn and Juno. Oh, so you have to say that this time period we're about to enter into is quite karmic, right? You know, you think about 19, the Libra degree, the sign that's all about balance and what is needed when it comes to creating and restoring balance within our lives. Karma. Because karma is just really action, right? It's the plus we have an interesting conversation going on between Cancer, Pisces, and Taurus, because as these Cancerian planets trine the Pisces planets, we also see the sextile between Taurus and these water signs. Ooh, how about we start to really focus on watering our own garden? Hey, how about we focus on our own emotional healing and bring it back to our emotional body, grounding ourselves around this new moon? Sensuality becomes a big theme. Being able to slow down. And naturally with this, what lovely harmony we have. Look at this energy flow. The energy flow between the new moon and Saturn, the energy flow between Venus and Neptune, and Mars right in the middle. Ooh, we love to see it. That support. So yeah, being supported, and maybe with that support comes greater steadiness. Plus, we have here Mercury will be in Leo, opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Vesta is also there conjunct Mercury. And then we notice here that Jupiter is creating this lovely sextile to Mercury and Vesta as well. Naturally, we also want to think about just some challenging aspects. We think about how Venus is making that square to Chiron, and then we see here how the new moon is creating a bit of a challenging square with the nodes, but we're going to talk all about it today, everybody. So, oh, and one more thing, just thinking about the overview. Notice how Juno has something to say, okay? Juno has something to say, because Juno is like, hey, you know what? I'm making a trine to Mars. I'm making a sextile to Pallas retrograde. I'm making a sextile also to these planets over here in Cancer. So, oh, and an opposition to Saturn. Could it be that this new moon in Cancer has a lot to say about our committed relationships. Consider even how Juno was retrograde for a period of time. Huh? Let's think about that. Because essentially, we're moving forward with the relationship lessons that we reviewed whilst Juno was retrograde in Virgo. What are you cleaning up within your relationships? All right. So just a reminder then, new moons. Is this going? Okay, perfect. New moons are all about new beginnings, setting new intentions. Cannot believe we're here already. Feel like it was just yesterday that I was setting my intentions during the new moon in Gemini. Hope I'm not freezing. Please let me know. Please. I don't want to lose you. Hope I do not freeze again. But yeah, I just even want to mention then a friend of mine actually was suggesting about, writing on a bit of paper and then actually planting it. And I did that during the new moon in Gemini. So I can't wait to do it during the new moon in Cancer as well. Yes, and to journal a little bit, just to write down a few lines around this new moon. So yes, new moons are so much about intention setting, fresh perspectives, a fresh start, new beginnings, planting new seeds. Good time to contemplate, good time to get quiet, reflect, especially because you know what, the new moon is making those, the trines there to Saturn. And then we see here with Venus trine Neptune. Brilliant time to meditate, go within, journal, get quiet, listen to music, get creative, just escape, retreat. Oh my goodness. Just take some time for yourself. Do you need to rest? Do you need to relax? Maybe you need to decompress a little bit. Just, right, breathe out. I think this is a perfect new moon for breathing out, for taking care of ourselves, for looking after our emotional body, our physical body, taking that time to slow it down. Now, with this new moon, it's happening at 14 degrees. So do make sure to consider, have you got any planets in Cancer, right? Is this new moon happening close to your Cancer planets? Maybe you've got significant planets opposite in Capricorn, okay? So there's a bit of an opposition to your Capricorn planets. Or you could have some planets in Aries or Libra, and then there are these squares happening. I know for myself, moon is in Aries at 15 degrees, and so the new moon will create a square to my moon. So even more reason to slow it down, right? Trying not to react, trying not to jump to conclusions or to, assume, not to assume things. But you see, the thing about the number 14 is it's a Taurus degree. Yes. So this Taurus degree is so much about that slow and steadiness and that patience. So that can support us, I think. Plus, this new moon is happening within the Cancer Scorpio decan. So there could be transformative elements to this new moon, of course, when we think about Scorpio. Naturally, Pallas retrograde is in Scorpio, so we will touch on that. Keep in mind that one of the rulers of Scorpio is Mars, and it's opposite there. Mars is in detriment in Taurus after all. Plus, with the number 14, this equates to the number 5 in numerology terms. Number 5 is a highly curious number, very much drawn toward freedom, expansion, broadening its horizons, big travelers, big adventurers there, seekers, being innovative. So there could be some positive qualities to this new moon. There could be this vibrancy, this energetic sort of rush, this desire to want to get things moving, to explore. But naturally, we could be impulsive. That's the other thing. Of course, with the moon being in Cancer in general, right? Cancer can at times become swept up in its own emotions. So do remember, I would say here, be somewhat mindful and cautious, or just bring attention to reacting. Eddie, you say you've got Mars and Cancer there. So I'm assuming the new moon is going to, because I was explaining the degrees, I'm assuming the new moon is close to your Mars and Cancer. This could be quite a reactive time. So With that, here's something. Yes, our feelings are valid. It is important to feel how we feel. It is important to give our emotions space and not to repress them, not to deny them, of course. But what we do with our emotions is another story. So, how we act on them, how we react, can tell us something else. And with that, then try to lean more into the Pisces energy, lean more into this Taurus energy. And if there is something that comes up around this new moon and you feel like, right, feelings, Cancer, you feel, hey, you know what? Yes, I need to protect myself. I need to defend myself. I need to say this thing. I need to get this off my chest, especially because Mercury is in Leo, right? Mercury in Leo is like, I'm not waiting around. I'm going to say the thing, okay? Confidently so. Perhaps it is important to keep in mind how you go about doing such things, even just for your own benefit. Okay, rather than having a mess to clean up behind you after, you know? So, yes. So that's just something I wanted to say there. So let's now think about some other aspects. Let's explore this new moon more, and then we will move on to your horoscopes. Hello, everyone. Welcome, by the way. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so with this new moon happening, what we see here is that by April 2025, there will be the first quarter moon. So we will essentially, around this new moon, plant new seeds to do with our emotional security, our emotional needs. Consider, ask yourself, what do you need to feel safe? This is a new moon to do with our sense of belonging and healthy protection. So think about your Cancer house. Where is Cancer in your chart? Maybe that healthy protection shows up within your friendships. It shows up within your one-to-one relationships. Maybe it shows up when it comes to children, or it plays out when it comes to your work, right? Coworker relationships there. What do you need to feel safe? Naturally, with the first quarter moon happening April 2025, the intentions that we set during this new moon will be tested, will be challenged. But the thing about the first quarter moon is that we can grow. Anywhere we see squares within the chart is a great opportunity to address the challenge. Squares have a Mars-like quality to them. So with Mars, you ask Martian people, it's like, yeah, I'm stepping up to that challenge. I've got this. You think about Scorpio dominant people, Aries dominant people, they're all about that challenge. So with the first quarter moon, that will be a good opportunity for us to grow through that, through the challenge. And by January 2026, we see here that the full moon will happen. The full moon will occur in Cancer, and then that will be a time of releasing, shedding, rewards. We could reap rewards. So the intentions we set during this new moon, fast forward to January 2026. Whoa, oh my gosh, things are coming together. Oh, whoa, I didn't see that. Finalizations, reaping those rewards. Could be very exciting indeed. Could be an emotional release too. Or looking back at this moment, looking back at this time period and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I decided to change there. Right. By 2026 as well, so the same year, the third quarter moon will happen in Cancer, and so that will be a good opportunity to adjust. I hope I'm not. Okay. So basically, everyone, this is a new moon that focuses on our emotional security, our emotional needs. It can be a very sentimental time, highly nostalgic, right? Looking back on the past, reminiscing, thinking about the good old days. But it could also be a question of, who do you have history with? And maybe it's linked to childhood, maybe it's linked to family matters. But consider too that Well, it's this question of what are you clinging to? Who are you clinging to? Is there anything that you recognize it's not really serving me as much there emotionally? But overall, this is a new moon related to care, looking after others, even being supportive, care. So the caretaking stuff, this could show up within relationships, especially with Venus there. This could be about our children. This could be about, hey, pets. This could be about our ability to protect what we've worked for. We could see this with the opposition to Ceres retrograde in Capricorn, actually. Maybe because they are the same degree, right? Ceres is directly opposite the new moon. There could be some struggle, some tension, resistance when it comes to accomplishment and achievement. So we'll touch on that in just a moment. But the other thing is the sextile to Mars. So with the sextile to Mars, we see here how our comforts, our pleasures, our stability, these things come into the equation. Being a rock, being this anchor, holding it together. And with Venus being involved as well, Venus is in Cancer during the new moon. There are these qualities coming up here to do with, okay, the emotional security we feel when it comes to relationships, collaborations, business, home, finances, family, etc. Creating traditions. And with Venus sextile Uranus too, you could very well be surprised. You could come up against a few surprises within your relationships. There could be changes that happen, the new. Something else is ushered in around this time period, but naturally, this is the beginning stages. Do remember that. Okay, so on the day around the time period, you could sense that things are changing, but give it time as well. Just sort of track the moon through those different phases as written there, as I just explained with the first quarter, full moon, third quarter, etc. Hello to, let me just check my internet. I hope my internet's okay. Am I freezing, people? Am I? Because I'm looking to my screen and I'm noticing a few little glitches, and that does not make me feel good. Let me just check here. I thought I was all good, but let's run my connection. Okay. Oh, Edyard, you say that you feel very connected in a sense. Cancer as beginnings. Okay. Right. So with the new moon as well, remember this trine to Saturn. So there's also something about longevity. The longevity, but also our spiritual insights. I think it would behoove us to really focus on and to reflect upon our own healing, self-compassion, self-forgiveness, being able to take a moment to go within. Okay, consider too the lessons you have learned so far, because the thing about this is Saturn will be retrograde as well, right? So Saturn is retrograde during this time period, because Saturn actually stations to turn retrograde tomorrow, so on the 29th of June. So even more reason to contemplate, even more reason to go within and meditate if you can. Whatever spiritual practices you do, just great time, great day period to take part in those things. Plus, with Venus trying Neptune, I mean, Neptune will also be retrograde because Neptune's turning retrograde on the 2nd, I believe. Oh, the fun, the joys, everybody. Wow, okay. So with Neptune then also being retrograde, creating that trine to Venus, we notice here these artistic qualities, creative, loving. Yeah, it could be quite a romantic, blissful, sensual time when it comes to people that we are very close to, partners, for example, but also just think about this within yourself. Think about your own healthy ways of taking care of yourself, escaping, decompressing, just big themes here, I feel, to do with relaxation, recharging our batteries when we need to. Indeed. Very healing, very therapeutic. Plus, with Saturn sextile Mars, which, by the way, this sextile is quite strong because they're both 19 degrees. Remember just to think about your goals in a holistic way, to be steady and to be consistent, but also to be patient. Try not to rush ahead so much. I'm taking notes, by the way. I mean, I've been making video back to back to back to back to back the past few weeks, and I'm still like, yes, okay, I'm going to keep going back to back to back to back. But maybe I need to kind of follow the energy a little bit and focus on relax in between. It's going to get done. Go at a steady pace. Rest when you can. So it's great here. This is a great period, great new moon, a great period for structure, for stability, for a plan, but also to be flexible, to also be somewhat fluid or adaptable. Okay, to kind of go, okay, well, let's not be so rigid around this new moon. And so we see here with Cancer, Pisces, and Taurus involved, this is about the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical all being kind of blended, harmonized together. So let's try and look at this through a more holistic lens, right? And the new moon, opposite Ceres retrograde, very strong. Both are 14 degrees. So when setting intentions, right? Setting intentions to do with our emotional security, our emotional needs, our attachments to our achievements here oppose us. They oppose us. Any fears here to do with missing out? Any fears here to do with being seen as a failure? Could those things be a driving force, a bit of a driving factor? Which, by the way, is a good opportunity to then think about and to recognize within ourselves, because then we don't have to play that game. So we may be thinking about reflecting upon the long haul and what we are building around this new moon. So what are you currently working on? And create space for success and for status reviews, etc. But just keep in mind that with Ceres being retrograde, it is important to consider, okay, just take your time to do that revision, so to speak. And that maybe it's best to plan things out in such a way where we're not running ourselves into the ground, or we're not being too hard on ourselves in this way, or adding too much pressure onto ourselves, to also welcome in some of that flexibility. Remember, with Saturn also being retrograde, it's a good opportunity for us to just revisit what sort of plans we've put in place over the past few months, what structures we've been building within our Pisces house. Take a closer look. Take another look at them. How steady are they? The foundations within your Pisces house, how steady are those foundations? And can you even allow for some wiggle room when it comes to those foundations? Okay. Let's now think about how the moon creates squares to the nodes, and then Venus is making a square to Chiron. So with moon square the nodes, it may kind of feel like we're at a crossroads, or like our direction is being challenged by our need for safety. So as we're setting intentions, maybe it's good to set intentions based on following our purpose, to not let the past hold us back. Is the past holding you back? See, this is the thing as well about the moon, about Cancer. It could be that certain things related to the past, this could be stuff related to past relationships, this could be emotional attachments that we have. Think even about how, again, Ceres is there in Capricorn, those emotional attachments to maybe respect or status or recognition, etc., those things could very well get in the way of us really putting ourselves first or jumping forward, moving forward. Naturally, when it comes to this, I'm not suggesting to be super selfish either. No. It's more about how can you create space for, yes, being somewhat caring and loving and patient with others, right? With the caregiving stuff related to cancer, etc. But if you feel like, you're overwhelmed, it's too much, how can you create space for yourself from time to time? It's having that balance. We come back to the Libra degree, the balance, harmony, give and take. Where are the scales not very well balanced there? Now, Venus square Chiron. Well, consider that this highlights emotional wounds within our relationships which hurt. So, how are we clinging to connections that no longer serve us? Do we let the pain of the unknown keep us from taking the lead? See, that could be a thing. That could be a pretty big challenge around this new moon. And I'm even thinking about this for myself. I'm like, whoa, I see this. Oh my gosh. So the thing could be that we're so attached to a certain relationship situation, even though it hurts us, even though it's not actually serving us very well, but we still cling. And maybe a lot of that stems from fear. It's like fear of the unknown, fear of, oh, will I ever meet someone new? Will I ever make new friends? Will I ever get asked to go to that place? You know, there could be that. Will I ever get that job opportunity again? There could be those sneaky little fears that creep in, sort of saying to you, teasing you, testing you, saying, oh, you're not good enough. Nobody likes you, right? It's this type of stuff. Now, my apologies, Mercury makes a conjunction with Vesta. So here we go. Leo to the rescue, because Leo kind of says, really? You're going to dwell? Really? You don't know how awesome you are? You don't know how amazing you are? Oh my gosh, you're not celebrating yourself? What are you doing? Think confidently. Believe in yourself. You've got this. I am your cheerleader. Okay? Even with Venus in Cancer, there are levels here of being able to recognize, yes, I'm going to nurture myself, my own emotions, respect them. And with the opposition to Pluto, hey, this could be a rebirth. This could be an overcoming situation. Feeling powerful, regenerating our energy, having a newfound perspective because we were able to dive deep into ourselves, because we were able to address our shadow. And then you realize, hey, you know what? I made it out alive. And with the sextile to Jupiter, can you see the positives? But even let's think of Jupiter through a lens of experience. So even if the situation is a bit more doom and gloom, challenging, etc., Jupiter in Gemini has the ability to use that rationale, that reason, and that logic just to go, do you know what? Let's just think about the facts. Let's think about the facts. Let's think about what you've actually learned. And some things you've learned may be beneficial or may be more positive to you. Other things, okay, maybe other things is just like, it is what it is. Or some things a bit more challenging, but you can still see how whatever it is, whatever the information is, that there's still something to gain. There's still knowledge to be had there. Hey, we love to see it. So with the last section here, I want to mention Mars opposite Pallas retrograde. Whoa, this is a fascinating one because we have, okay, stay with me. We have the planet of war and the asteroid of war opposite each other in the sky. Mars is the planet of war. Pallas is the asteroid of war. Mars is known for being a lot more just push through, bloodshed, get the job done, right? But Pallas is more like, hey, we're going to be strategic. We're going to make sure that we're prepared. We're going to create a strategy, right? This strategy plan, the game plan. What is your game plan? But you see, with Pallas being retrograde, this is still being reassessed. This is still being thought about deeply. So with the opposition, my goodness, we are presented with strategy, thinking things through, practical action, practical application with Mars and Taurus. This is energetic energy. It's passionate. It's driven. We may feel driven to achieve in this way, or to just bring our intellect to the actions we take, to be smart. Again, and this is something that I've said a few times, to work smarter, not harder. So consider your game plan. Yes. Eduardo said Leo is midterm, team play, achievement. It's like, it's almost like being on a team, and you have to strategize before the game. And the coach comes and says, right, okay, these are the positions, and you're going to go here, you're going to go there. And this is what we want to think about around this new moon. Having this plan somewhat. Naturally as well, we also notice that the planet of love is opposite. Sorry, my mistakes, not opposite, but the planet of love is making a sextile to the asteroid of love. Yes, there is a sextile between Juno and Venus. Yes, we've got a few aspects to Juno, actually. So with that, consider things like beauty, commitment, desire, showing others that we care, we love them, acts of service, of course, all those things. Being helpful, being considerate, being mindful of others' needs, etc. But then it's also with the opposition to Saturn, we notice the balance between that commitment and that sense of, wanting to help others, be of service, but then equally to look at freedom, to think about our own personal views too. To think about as well, this new moon could be a make it or break it new moon. A make it or break it new moon, considering what we're willing to put up with, what we're willing to tolerate, what are we not willing to compromise on? That could be a thing with all the oppositions. Yeah, that could be a thing. What are we not willing to compromise on? So this brings us back to the Libra degree. This Libra degree with all the 19 degrees here happening in the sky, including the asteroids, including some of the planets. So yes, there could be some breakthroughs that happen. There could be maybe, yes, challenging times emotionally, but also liberating, liberating times. And also, let me see here. Yeah, I think I've actually said everything from this slide. So I think we're good. Oh, yes, there was one more thing. Something I haven't put on this slide. Juno trine Mars. Yes. So Juno is also making a trine to Mars in the sky. So with that one, maybe that welcomes the ability to actually see, okay, how can I be of service and align my actions with being of service within my relationships? Maybe this is even a good opportunity to fairly see, right, what am I bringing to the table within my relationships? Because Juno seems to be a key player, I would say, one of the key players during this new moon. So being able to fairly look at yourself and think, right, what am I bringing to the table? And is there anything that I would like to improve upon? Is there anything I would like to clean up, so to speak? How would I like to act, behave here? And do I feel as if my behaviors and my actions are being treated with respect and integrity? And this is where we bring in Saturn and think about the longevity. And maybe this is also where we notice with the oppositions of the make it or break it stuff. Again, karma, people, karma in the waters of Cancer. Right. So now we have explored the astrology. Let's think about your signs. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And Annette, thank you for joining in. Thank you very much. Great to have you. Okay. Oh, right. Let's see. Horoscopes. So I'm just going to do my timestamps here. And we're going to start off. We are going to start off with Aries. Okay. So Aries, what we see for you is this new moon is happening within your 4th house, and there is this conversation happening between your 4th, your 2nd, and your 12th. And this is just a bit of a theme that we're going to go with. I could talk about all aspects, I know, but I do not have all night. I don't. So what I want to do for the horoscopes is focus on more of the Cancer house, the Taurus house, and the Pisces house, that sort of energy flow between those planets. Right. So there are big themes here, Aries, to do with, well, your emotional needs, regulating your emotions. Maybe this is a new moon where around the time period, you're actually feeling a little bit more like, you know what, I just want time for myself. I need time to relax. I need time to put my feet up, to decompress, or to even be around people who you relate to more emotionally. Maybe this is a big deal for you. If you feel like you're not getting your needs met around this new moon, because the thing is that with the moon being in Cancer, emotions can be high. Emotions can be high, especially for you, Aries. You can be this type of sign that's like, no, I need to think about me here. But if you feel like your emotional needs are not being met, then there could be some tension there. Some tension, and maybe some of that tension is even related to your career or your professional life, right? With the Ceres opposition to the new moon, as we were exploring there. But maybe a part of this is asking yourself, right, is there anything holding you back to do with your past? Anything about family, anything about history? And even when we think about family and home stuff, how likely is it that people's actions are aligning with their feelings? And is it as well that there is a focus here on how you're looking after your own spiritual needs, because Saturn is involved? You, I feel, Aries, around this new moon, you are considering, right, these are my plans, these are my goals, my intentions when it comes to my resources and my finances. And you have been sort of consistently, steadily moving toward those, right? Making those moves, which is, yeah, great to see. Maybe you're feeling quite accomplished. But just at the same time, I think there is something about being able to create that space for, well, to recharge, essentially, to recharge, to consider what you need emotionally and spiritually, especially because Saturn there and Neptune there will be retrograde in the 12th house. Now, at the same time, it could even be that around this time period, you feel like there are more family events going on. There is a bit more focus on family and home and stuff like that, creating those memories and everything. So there could also be some celebrations and enjoyable moments within it all. But basically, I think this is a new moon where you're going to set new intentions to do with your emotional security. So what you need to feel supported, what you need to feel safe. Setting intentions to do with feelings of belonging, right? That sense of belonging, home, right? So thinking about your home life and the family that you're a part of, but also the type of home that you wish to set up for yourself. There could be some significant intentions that you set where you feel, yes, this I feel is the right path for me and my family, my children, if you have any children, of course. So plant those seeds, Aries. Hello, Kina. Welcome to you. Hi, so good to have you here. And Angela, hi to you. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Edgard, you said, yes, Aries are having some personal time. That's what I feel. Yeah, self-care could be a big focus. Do you know what's interesting? I have in my notes that this is a new moon in general, where it's like, it's a moon of focus, but it's also a moon of empathy. Empathy and compassion. Right, so let's now move on to Taurus. Taurus. All right, so this new moon is happening in your third house. So we have the Cancer activations in the third, and then we have some activations in Taurus, and then Pisces. All right, let's think about it this way, Taurus. Well, recently, with Mars being in your sign, you have been quite determined, highly ambitious, especially lately. Perhaps there have been significant money moves, security moves there, right? Maybe you've been making small, gradual changes when it comes to your skills and your gifts, etc. But then we notice here that with the new moon happening in your third house, you will set intentions to do with the likes of learning, right? Maybe there is something else you would like to learn, or you would like to focus more on how you can communicate, right, in this empathetic and more supportive way. And perhaps a part of that learning, a part of that polishing up your communication skills, so to speak, is to do with your money, is to do with your job, is to do with that business side of things, because Venus is actually in Cancer, right? And Venus is your chart ruler. So yeah, this new moon could be about setting new intentions to do with your communication style, to do with learning. You know, it could be more about learning how to relate with others. And again, that relation stuff could be linked to your work, to your profession, or maybe such matters show up within your communities, your friendships, teams that you're a part of, clubs that you're a part of, and anything that you wish to build for the long haul, actually, when it comes to communities and teams. This could be really about you speaking on a more personal, intimate level with friends. Maybe there could be some blockages or limitations that you address. So if you feel like you and a friend, or you and a group of friends, there's some blockages there happening, it's difficult to communicate, This could be a helpful new moon actually to help you sort of get your message out there, even just for your own benefit. It's even just to be able to say that you tried in this regard. But hey, this could also be about you addressing the masses. Okay, this could be about you addressing large audiences, public speaking, So if there are any fears or worries tied or anxieties tied to public speaking or speaking in front of groups, maybe this is a new moon where you can start to plant seeds, right? You can plant seeds of, right, well, how would I like to improve there? How can I maybe gain a little bit more confidence here? What is it I would like to say? How can I plan things out a little bit there? But then all of this stuff I feel is also tied to quite possibly that Mars influenced as well, right? It's tied to Mars in Taurus and those goals that you're setting, right? Your goal setting and the practical things you would like to accomplish, thinking about your materials and your resources. And of course, yes, with the planet Mercury, which is all about communication, Mercury is in the fourth house there for you. So perhaps the communicative stuff could also be linked to that of family, home, or, well, just family matters. That it doesn't just have to be, you speaking with family members directly. This could also be about certain designs or changes or styles that you want to bring into the home, right? The interior stuff. Yeah, I do actually see this. Taurus really wanting to make those moves and those plans when it comes to figuring out how they want to style their home. Yeah, that makes sense when I think about certain Taurus folks in my life. Funny. Okay, let's now move on to Gemini. Gemini. Okay, so this new moon in Cancer is happening in your second house. And then we see here that Mars is in the 12th. We've got the Pisces planets in the 10th. So there's a lot here coming through to do with your profession, to do with your public image, your reputation. With Saturn being retrograde here around this new moon, Neptune as well, you are retracing your steps. You are revisiting the professional sphere matters. So certain moves that you've been making recently, anything that you've been working toward, building toward, etc., when it comes to your professional life, good time to consider, right, what else would you like to change? Or is there anything that you would like to revisit there so that the foundation is more sturdy and it's stronger? But then setting new intentions within the second house to do with these matters. So what I mean by this is the setting new intentions during this new moon could relate to your resources, your earnings. Okay, it's how your emotional security is tied to your physical security. So whenever you feel, Gemini, like you have enough, there is enough there, you can provide, then you're going to feel a lot more secure within yourself. So yes, this could be a new moon where you are setting new intentions to do with the long haul, right? The long haul about your resources and your earnings. Even thinking about your spending habits, how you budget, how you save. Maybe even considering how much you value family time. So family time could be a big focus for you around this new moon. And maybe it's that family time, it's that sense of kind of belonging and togetherness there that you value that is also linked to the professional stuff and what you're building there for the future. And then with Mars being a part of this, Mars in the 12th house also highlights something here about being able to relax, being able to slow down. Could be actually a really healthy, sort of therapeutic or a revitalizing new moon for many Gemini, especially because Mars will enter your sign in due course very soon. Uh, so that I feel is going to be more of an exciting, sort of more action orientated time for you. So just perhaps with the way the planets are situated within your chart, Gemini, this could be a good opportunity for you to focus more on your spiritual lives or just taking it easy. Hey, just putting your feet up when you can, taking a break when you can. So let's now move on to Cancer. Cancer. So this is your new moon, of course, right? So I want to say, firstly, happy birthday to all of you Cancerians out there. I hope you have a great birthday. Solar Cancerians, of course. And as I say, this is your new moon. So it's your time. It's really your time to shine. And the intentions that you set around this new moon, your emotional security right here in terms of your goals, your aims, it's more about you, right? Naturally, with you being you, when we consider your needs are also tied to caring for other people, I feel. It's like this whole thing of you need to be needed. It's that feeling. Uh, or just with this energy, there's something about liking, right? Liking to have people close to you, liking to have your loved ones nearby, cherishing those moments, creating those memories. Yes, this could be quite a pleasing, harmonious, loving, embracing time for many Cancerians around this new moon, especially because Venus is in your sign. There's something here about being really magnetic and attractive. Could be a beneficial new moon for business moves, business collaborations, clients and customers going really well, gaining positive feedback from people you work with, feeling close with your partner, with your significant other. Heck, with the moon even being in your first house, the moon is home in your sign. So a lot of stuff to do with comforts and being cozy. Heck, it could be that many Cancerians, you prefer to be at home around this time period. Maybe you just need to be in your own safe space. Maybe that's what you prefer. But still, as for setting intentions, planting new seeds, perhaps planting new seeds is more about your successes, what you wish to create within the world. I mean, after all, my word, Cancer, you can be highly determined people, very tenacious. Do not try and get in the way of Cancer and their success and what they're wanting to achieve. And plus, with Mars being in the 11th house, with the sextiles and everything, there could be something here about how your achievements and your goals are very much linked to that of teamwork and those efforts, participations, right? Your group participations, the communities that you're a part of, and even, hey, that stability and that comfort that you feel, the security that you're longing for, that you're craving within groups and everything else. But maybe as well, this is where we notice the holding on stuff, right? And this is where we notice, well, possibly drawing from healthy attachments. Let's not try not cling, because that could be another thing. The past, right? The past stuff to do with you, the past holding you back slightly here. Yes. So consider this information even when we think about certain people in your life, certain relationships that maybe you're clinging on, you're holding on to the past a little bit, but there could be something more healthy in terms of, okay, draw from healthier attachments. And such healthier attachments could be more linked to your own identity, your own sort of personal progress there. And of course, with Pisces being a part of this, Pisces is in the ninth house, right? Pisces is in the ninth house with Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde. So I'm going to say this. This could be a good opportunity around this new moon to even reflect upon your beliefs, right? What are your deeply held beliefs? Reflect upon the teachings that you've been maybe studying or learning or teaching. Maybe also reflect upon any trips you want to go on. It could be a beneficial time to start saving or to start planning for a fun trip abroad, for instance. So you're setting new intentions essentially when it comes to these areas. Maybe as well, there's something here about retreats, hosting retreats, or um, wanting to host your own sort of class or host your own program. Very, very exciting actually for many Cancerians, even just improving upon your skills, right? Upskilling, doing advanced training, getting that promotion. There could be some things that are just ideas, basically, ideas that are coming up for you about the long haul. Okay, so Leo. Okay, so we have now Leo. Oh, and Sagittarius has not been done yet. We're doing it in order. Oh, sorry, I moved that over a little bit. That's Virgo. Okay, Leo. Leo, the new moon in Cancer is happening in your 12th house. And we have here Mars in the 10th. We have here the energies in the 8th. Deep sea diving, Leo. Uh, Truly taking time to decompress, truly taking time to let it all out, let it all go, release it emotionally, spiritually, let it out. Good time for solitude, good time to just take as much time as you need. And this could just be something as simple as healthy escapism with family, healthy escapism, maybe just reading or cooking, baking, doing some gardening, whatever to help you feel more at ease, to help you feel more centered. Now, naturally, around this new moon, Mercury will be in your first house. So you may also feel around this new moon like you have a lot to say. And you may be very passionate, feel very passionate about what you want to say. And you may be inspired. Could be a good social time as well, right? But perhaps on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, you just need some time to recharge. Good time for just, hey, you know what? Getting a good night's sleep if you can. Maybe you'll dream quite a bit. Your dreams are extra vivid. Or, do you know, it could be a very sensitive time for many Leos because the sun can represent the father figure and the moon can represent the mother figure, and then Venus represents relationships. So maybe it can be a sensitive time in terms of the past stuff, right? We were kind of saying this about Cancer throughout the astrology overview of clinging to the past. What is holding you back? Maybe this is looking at the stories that you tell yourself when it comes to the past and how such stories are linked to family, your upbringing, your childhood. Could be a really sensitive time actually for many Leos. Could be a highly sensitive time. And maybe as well, there's something here about recognizing those healthy emotional boundaries that you've put in place. So if, for instance, Saturn through your 8th house has been quite supportive for you or has assisted you with creating more sort of structure, and that structure is related to your deeper personal feelings, your privacy, stuff like that. Just with Saturn retrograde, it could be a good opportunity to keep in mind what you've already built so far, what has already came through for you on a spiritual level so far, and to not give up on what you've already learned. It's like try not give into certain temptations, certain experiences that could test you, right? Could really test your patience, could test how far you've come already, basically. But yeah, good time for healing, going within. And at the same time, with Mars, you could be busy. You could be a busy bee right now. Many Leos, you're getting to work, you're doing all the things, but you're making that slow and steady progress. Yes, much passion and energy is being derived into your professional lives, into your public persona. Your reputation is being focused on a great deal. The efforts are going into these areas essentially, and you're seeking to achieve, you're seeking to accomplish. I mean, a lot of that then is tied to your own livelihood and your physical security, which is great, of course, great. But maybe the new moon is sort of inviting something a bit more sensitive and emotional. So yes, basically, I just think the new moon is going to invite you setting new intentions when it comes to how you really unwind, what you can do for yourself, right? Those moments that you can take for yourself throughout the day, away from the public eye. Okay, let's now think about Virgo. Virgo, here we go. Oh, and thank you so much. Thank you, Frankie. Awesome. I'm glad to hear. Wow, okay. Right, so Virgo, we have the new moon in Cancer is happening in your 11th house, and then we have Taurus in the 9th, and then we've got the 7th with Pisces. Well, I want to think about it this way, right? Consider Saturn retrograde, right? Saturn's going to be retrograde during this new moon. Think about how you have been somewhat tested, what obstacles you have come up against so far when it comes to clients, customers, relationships, and stuff like that, business partnerships, business relationships, even just one-to-one relationships, your significant other, right? Think about which obstacles have come up and how such obstacles have tested your spiritual your spiritual awareness or your emotions too, and how you have matured so far on these levels. So, how you have matured spiritually and emotionally. But then consider here with the new moon happening in your 11th house, how the intentions you set regarding friendship, community, teams, how those intentions are related to your own emotional maturity that you have been building upon over this past year. And try to recognize that you have matured a great deal and that this is a new moon that invites this freshness, this newness tied to feeling safe and supported and protected within your communities. But then just as much thinking about how your emotional needs are being met within your communities and friendships. And is there something here about the past holding you back? How can you draw from healthy attachments when it comes to friendships and teams, etc.? Maybe there are a few things that you're feeling very strongly, very heavily around this new moon. And maybe you feel like you want to get, you want to get these things off your chest. But bring it back to the self and just think about, okay, what do you need? And can you even hold space for the parts of you which are very empathetic and supportive, very caring when it comes to others? Can you appreciate those qualities about yourself, right? Even think about the self-love piece to do with Venus there. And then we also throw into the mix with Mars. This is a new moon that will invite a greater sense of accomplishment when it comes to your teachings and the knowledge that you share with the world. Because after all, Virgo, you're the types of people who seek to share knowledge in practical ways. Maybe there's something here about slowing down just enough to appreciate how far you've come. and the practical efforts that you've put in so far. Still, this is a new moon where you're going to be planting new seeds to do with the future when it comes to friendships. And it's that the thing I feel the big thing is that emotional attachment, the emotional connections that you form, and thinking about the memories as well that you have created within friendships and communities and teams so far, how you've participated, how other people have participated. So it's a new moon for you, with empathy when it comes to friendships and everything, but it's also a new moon of recognizing what you need just as much and seeing, okay, how have you evolved and how can you continue to evolve? All right, so let's now think about Libra. Eddie, yes, you've got a Virgo sun. Okay, let's give it a couple of seconds. Timestamps. Yes, Libra, here we go for you. Well, Libra, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. And then we have these activations with Taurus in the 8th and Pisces in the 6th. Yeah, there's a lot here going on for you professionally, Libra. You're making those moves. The determination stuff, the the tenacious qualities when it comes to Cancer, these things are shining through. These things are coming out to play around this new moon, and you're setting new intentions. My goodness, you're all about feeling secure for the future, Libra. You can be really strategic actually when it comes to planning for the future, because a lot of it then is, what do I need? What do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel secure? And so you are able to set yourself up in such a way where those feelings are met. So this new moon welcomes a new vision, a new dream, a new perspective. It welcomes the ability to plant new seeds then when it comes to the future, right? The future related to the security stuff, the emotional security stuff, and how such things are also tied to the work that you do out in the world, your persona, your reputation, how you're seen in front of the public. My goodness, many Libras are seen as caregivers, as really supportive people, very intuitive, very healing, stepping into therapeutic roles, caregiving roles, etc. Yes. But at the same time, we notice that with the trines happening to the 6th house, well, I mean, with the retrogrades in the 6th house, there's something here about you taking a closer look at what you've been building when it comes to your routines and your services. Maybe for many Libras, let's say this, things have been slightly testing and challenging for you on a practical, mundane level. Think about it like this as well. You're all about balance, you're all about harmony, but it seems as if the transit of Saturn through Pisces has given you a bit of a hard time, because what this essentially has done is Saturn has come along and sort of made the scales not very balanced. Maybe readjustments have had to be made, and it's been a bit tricky to keep up with it, to keep those plates spinning, so to speak. So perhaps you've been riding those waves, riding the emotional waves of Pisces, coming to understand that there are certain things that you just can't control. Maybe there's a lot of surrender that has happened, recognizing really what is a priority for you, what can leave it till later, knowing what you can't give up, what is just not significant, what's not a priority. Yes. So a lot of this then I feel is what you will be revisiting around this time period and beyond, of course, with Saturn being retrograde. So planting new seeds then to do with your emotional security and safety when it comes to your professional life, when it comes to your life path, your aims and your achievements, your accomplishments, etc. So it's those intentions that you set to do with these matters that are linked to the routine stuff and the everyday mundane stuff. Plus, with Mars being in Taurus, there's something to be said about sharing, being strategic about sharing, looking at those practical matters that you're attending to, thinking about the financial stuff between you and a significant other, or when it comes to investments, when it comes to debt or paying things off. Oh, yes, making a plan, having a plan of action, which something I mentioned earlier, the plan of action here is, I think it's important to recognize, yes, structure, keep at it, consistency, but also leave some room for flexibility. Okay, so moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, okay, we have here this new moon happening in your 9th house, and then we have the Taurus energy in the 7th, plus this energy of Pisces in the 5th. What can we say here? Well, Scorpio, it seems to be that there are many serious conversations that are still being had when it comes to romance, love, and children. Saturn, of course, will be retrograde during this new moon. And Saturn, I feel, has something to say about the long haul, the longevity of a romantic relationship. Also, considering the emotional needs of the children, any children you have, or any children that you wish to have, there could be something about building for the future, being mature, being responsible about the future when it comes to children here, or being mature, committed, responsible when it comes to, again, it could be romance, it could be about love here. Naturally, this could also pertain to that of your hobbies. You're right. So I feel as if for many Scorpios, there has been a great focus on building when it comes to creativity, your creativity, and how that has required you to be very active and consistent and determined and disciplined. So when we bring it back to the new moon being in Cancer, there seems to be intentions that you're setting to do with taking on, a new program, learning more. This could be about traveling, maybe traveling for family reasons, traveling with your significant other, with Venus there as well in the 9th. Maybe there's something that you desire here, a certain destination that you really want to visit with your family. So, yeah, you could plant new seeds when it comes to these areas. But you see, this stuff could also be tied to the romantic stuff, tied to the hobby stuff. Maybe this is looking at, okay, you're really serious about a particular hobby. Let's go with that as an example. You're really serious about a particular hobby, something creative. And the new moon in Cancer could be this supportive influence in that it's saying, do you know what? How about you try to expand your horizons? How about you try to learn more? Maybe this could be about you expanding your mind, opening yourself up to new connections with Venus there, new relationships. But just as much, this is about your emotional safety, your emotional needs, right? And how such things are linked to your very beliefs. And maybe this is a new moon that's going to usher in then you planting new seeds when it comes to your beliefs. So thinking about your emotional needs there, thinking about how you can care for yourself, how you can support yourself, how you can support your family, how you can take care of your family, how you can take care of your children there. Again, back to the 5th house. And then partnership really comes through here with Mars in the 7th. Clients also comes through. Business, those business deals, maybe traveling for business reasons, business purposes. And maybe as well, thinking about the consistency, building a consistent client list, or considering your aims and your goals and your desires when it comes to business, possibly thinking about being a leader, being in a manager position, leveling up in some way, shape, or form. And perhaps that stuff is also linked to the higher education, training, learning more. Okay, let's now think about Sagittarius. So actually, let me just adjust. Yes, okay, Sagittarius. We have here for you, Sagittarius, this new moon in Cancer happening in your 8th house. I want to start off with this. And I know it's not going to be true for everyone, but hear me out. Something I feel that isn't talked about often when it comes to the 8th house is it's actually a house that's tied to conception, so think about pregnancy. Okay. Yes, of course, it is the 8th house that can be linked to sex, intimacy, stuff like that. And what can happen from that, babies, children, etc. So this could be quite a fertile time for some Sagittarians. Let's just say that. It could be that some Sagittarians around this time are discovering that they are pregnant, that they're conceiving, that they're having a baby, they're having a family. Possible. That's a possibility. Or it could be that they set new intentions to do with these matters, to do with these areas. Let's go another route. Let's think about how, with the 8th house, it's so much about the occult, the paranormal, what's hidden. So there could be a few hidden truths that come to light around this new moon. Or it could be that you can sense things, right? You can feel, you can sense that there is information being hidden. There could be something about secrecy. There could be something about privacy. Doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could just be that you could very well, Sagittarius, decide that you want to keep information private for a little bit. So before you give information out, before you tell other people, you want to keep it to yourself for a little while. And at the same time, such matters could be linked to family. We bring it back to Saturn, the 4th house. Maybe as well, so with Saturn being retrograde, you are going to revisit the very structure, the very foundations of your home. Maybe renovating, maybe getting things changed within your home, or perhaps this could be a situation of you wanting to save for the long haul. There could be some desires, an action plan, a strategy that you create when it comes to your home, when it comes to residency, when it comes to just where you live in general there. So this is all to say that things may just take time. And you're being serious, you're being pretty committed about the whole thing. And then this new moon is about setting new intentions when it comes to these very areas, right? And setting new intentions then to do with how you feel supported within your intimate relationships. Maybe there's a few conversations to be had there, Sagittarius, about intimacy, about what you need from a partner, or maybe about what you need when it comes to managing finances, dealing with other people's money, sharing resources. That could be a big thing. But hey, it could be for some Sagittarians that you take the time to dive into all of the occult-like practices and studies, and you do all the research, and you're very much in investigative mode. Maybe that's something that you crave around this time. You're doing all of your research. You really are. And with Mars in the 6th house, there could be something here about your health, right? Looking after your body, your well-being, taking it slow, making sure you're resting enough, you're relaxing enough. Hey, I mean, heck, it could be that there is something about conception or pregnancy or whatever, and your body is like, yes, I need to chill here. Or it's that there is a greater focus upon building on your security there and how such matters are linked to work, your services. It's just having that more steady, slower approach to things, which could be quite healthy for you around this time period, Sagittarius. Let's now think about Capricorn. Okay. Right. So Capricorn, we're moving on to you. Oh, hi, Jason. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Great. Great to see you as well. Thank you. Yes, Capricorn, we have the new moon happening opposite you. Yeah. We've got the new moon in Cancer happening opposite you. We've got your chart ruler Saturn. It's in the 3rd house. And then we have this Mars energy in the 5th. Conversations about children. This is what's coming through here. Conversations about what you wish to achieve with respect to romance and pleasure, joy, celebration, happiness. There could be a great focus actually on many Capricorns' happiness around this time period. And maybe a lot of it as well is figuring out how your emotional needs are being met within your relationships. How secure do you feel within your relationships? Hello to JLo, welcome to you. It will be on replay, right? You'll not miss you. It will be up for you after, okay? So don't worry about that. And hello, Tyler, welcome to you. Thank you for joining. So anyway, setting new intentions, Capricorn, when it comes to business dealings, when it comes to partnerships, relationships, one-to-one matters, really. And a lot of it, I feel, is about how these relationships are reflected back to you. What are you getting from them? How are they serving you? How do you feel? Okay, Capricorn, yes, Capricorn feels a lot, but Capricorn can also be rather rational about things. Sort of bring it to solutions, bring it to like, oh, well, practically speaking, but really, how do you feel? How can you, around this time period, soften? That's a word that I have not mentioned yet, which I feel is very Pisces. Soften, right? Saturn retrograde and Neptune are there in the third house. So for you, this soften could be about language, could be about communication, could be about really listening and taking in information and just the feeling tone associated with information. What isn't being said within the conversation as well? Intuitively speaking, how do you feel whenever you're conversing with others? Do you feel listened to? Do you feel that there's mutual respect? Do you feel that there's a sense of integrity there? Maybe some Capricorns are listening and they're like, no, I don't. I don't feel like I'm heard. I don't feel like whenever I contribute to the conversation, there is space for what I'm saying. And so maybe we bring it back to your emotional needs, your emotional security. It's interesting because often you attract people who are quite emotional in this way. They're more about their emotional needs and they can be very caring and very uh, supportive people, etc., very empathetic people. But perhaps this is also about you coming to terms with your own emotional safety and what is perhaps holding you back when it comes to connecting on a one-to-one level with others. Maybe as well, the intentions that you set have something to be said about the rapport that's built within business. Because, my goodness, Capricorn, you can be amazing at business because if you think about Cancer in the seventh house, not only Capricorn are you highly ambitious, determined, disciplined, etc., well, hardworking as well. Well, with Cancer in the seventh, you also can be quite good at sort of gauging other people, right? Sussing them out, reading them, their body language, picking up on things there. You can create that emotional rapport. And when you enter into sort of business roles, I can see this as you doing really well, doing really well. And so this is a new moon where I feel you're going to set new intentions to do with those business partnerships, clients, customers. What's the message there? But setting new intentions too when it comes to what you're actually getting. What are you actually receiving from the relationship? Does anything feel off balance? Is there something karmic about the whole situation? And maybe that karma is linked to your voice, it's linked to communication, conversations that need to be had, or the conversations that were had in the past, and maybe you want to revisit them in some way, shape, or form. And then again, those conversations could be tied to that of children or linked to that of your individuality, your self expression, greater pleasure, feeling more at ease, feeling more secure. That could be a big thing. The security. And that security may be tied to your own happiness with Mars there in Taurus. So yes, you could very well around this time period slow down just enough Just recognize, how can I soften in this moment? Take it in, but also how can I be somewhat direct about what I need in order to feel secure. This could be about romantic relationships. This could be simply about enjoyment, play, fun, pleasure, those certain leisure activities that you do with others. Right, let's think about Aquarius. Okay, so Aquarius, we have here the new moon happening in your 6th house. And we have Mars in the 4th and the Pisces energy in the 2nd. So let's consider Aquarius with Cancer in the 6th. You tend to step into service roles. You, of course, are known for being humanitarians, or you're known for really wanting to help the collective. You can be really idealistic about the whole thing, of course, but you do care. You care. And so this is a new moon, I feel, that will usher in some type of change, these new intentions to do with your services, to do with your work, your occupation, those supportive roles, those caregiving roles, thinking about as well any fluctuations, any emotional changes there to do with your routines and your everyday life. Maybe it's recognizing what your emotional needs are on a daily basis, recognizing the highs and lows you go through, or the emotional waves that you experience, maybe when you're around certain coworkers, colleagues, etc. There's a greater focus on your emotional safety when it comes to colleagues and coworkers. And maybe a big part of this is also about your health, looking after your health, caring for your emotional body, Aquarius. We also notice then with the trine to Saturn, right? Saturn's retrograde, Neptune's also involved with this, but we notice here that this is a good opportunity for you to take a closer look at the foundations and the structures that you have been building so far when it comes to your resources and your earnings, etc. And even just considering the setbacks and the delays that you've come up against and the lessons that you have learned so far, but relate this information to that of your services and your work and your everyday lives, your everyday tasks. Also consider Mars is in the 4th. So many Aquarians are taking action. They're asserting themselves. When it comes to their home, their family, they're getting a lot done. Maybe many of you Aquarians, you are deciding to take some time to rest, to relax, to recharge when you can. You're being more patient with yourself. You're being more steady with yourself. You're also starting to really focus on your own value, your own inner security a lot there with Mars through the 4th house. And you're actually supported then in a way. You're supported by these Saturn lessons to do with your resources and your security, the physical security. And you may also feel like you're being supported in some way, shape, or form by any significant changes, right? The changes that you make so that your everyday life can run more smoothly. I myself, my son is in Aquarius and I can relate to this. I have been making many, many, many changes when it comes to my everyday tasks, but a lot of that is to do with my emotional body and my physical well-being, my health, and wanting to slow down a little bit more. Okay, so let's now think about, lastly, we've got Pisces. Pisces. My goodness, can't believe it. We're coming to the end, everyone. This has been quite a quick one. I wanted to keep it sort of short and sweet, to the point, Okay, Pisces, here we go. Hello to Nasta. Welcome to, you say, Aries rising here. Awesome. Well, hopefully you find the replay then and you can give that a watch. Thank you for being here. Yes, Pisces, last but not least. So we have here Saturn retrograde and Neptune, of course, retrograde in your sign. And then we have the energies in the 5th house with the new moon. So the new moon happening in the 5th with these first house activations, of course, with Saturn involved. So Pisces, you're setting new intentions when it comes to things like play, pleasure, leisure, your leisure activities, your hobbies, your spare time, time off, vacation, fun, just time to have fun, Pisces. Time to have fun, party, celebrate. You could be on holiday right now, right? But really, around this new moon, this could be a time of leisure. This is a focus on, you know what, I want to set new intentions to do with having more time for myself, spending more time with my family, spending more time with my loved ones, creating memories there, doing the things that I enjoy, doing the things that light me up in life that I'm happy about. And your emotional needs and your emotional security, then, these things are tied to these areas. And we also want to think about how, with Saturn being involved, you are still gonna take a closer look at the structures and the foundations that you've been building upon when it comes to your aims and your goals so far over this past year. How much you have evolved spiritually, Pisces, and the lessons that you have learned this far, even when it comes to your identity, when it comes to your physical appearance, possibly revisiting potential limitations and blockages, being presented with those limitations or doubts, potential fears that could come up. But here's the thing, with the trines then to the fifth house, this is like, hey, you know what? Know who you are, Pisces. Remember who you are. You've got this. You've got this. Remember who you are. Focus on your own self-expression, your individuality. Be proud of your accomplishments. Be proud of, oh my goodness, how hardworking you've been this past year. Whoa. How determined and disciplined you've been over this past year. Give yourself so much credit. And even with that, because you know that you have put in so much time, possibly overtime, you can then kind of think about, right, yeah, I'm going to spend time with my family. You know what? Yeah, I've been giving and giving and giving to this role or within this profession or whatever. And yes, it has been for a good purpose, a good reason, a good cause, but I still want time for myself with all the the Cancer planets in the fifth, and with Mars as well being in the third. There's also something about the activity when it comes to your neighborhood, your local area. There could be some short trips that you go on. There could be a greater focus on taking things slower within conversations and just being mindful of what you say, abilities to listen there more deeply, being kind of receptive in a way, and just taking things in, and possibly spending some time with siblings or with close friends, people you know very well. And that, those experiences could bring you a lot of pleasure. Yeah, I guess that's the thing about this new moon in Cancer for everyone, right? There are these activations between Cancer, Pisces, and Taurus. And so we bring it back to slowing down, healing, sensuality, watering your own garden, and resting when we can. And maybe for you, Pisces, this rest is sort of tied to, well, how you move here throughout your local area. And the rest is tied up with how you can slow down within conversations and steady your mind. That could be a thing. To steady your mind, to show kindness even for your own sake. That forgiveness piece even with you, the compassionate piece. All right, so everybody, this has been all of the signs. Thank you so much. Again, I want to remind you that if you would like to join my Patreon, you can do so. The link is down below. And I want to take a moment to say thank you so, so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you. And with that, everybody, thank you for listening. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And if you really enjoyed this live stream today, you can always buy me a coffee. But of course, there is no pressure. But overall, thank you very much for being here. I really hope that you find your horoscopes to be helpful. Let me know if you relate, etc. And Edyard, thank you for your contributions today. Thank you for everything that you've been saying in the chat, for following along. You've been very attentive. And Jason, yes, thank you so much. You have a lot of Scorpio then in your chart. Yes, Edyard, how you move. Anyway, everyone, you know what? Happy weekend. Yes, happy weekend. Happy birthday to all of you solar cancers out there again. And we'll be back next week then. Next week, we're going to talk about the full moon in Capricorn. We've got another full moon coming up. But with that, have a great weekend and have a lovely week and happy new moon, everyone. See you in the next one.